Hi there, it's Jonny K with Rock 96.7. Got a special guest in the studio today, head coach of the Bloomington Thunder Hockey Squad. It's Dennis Williams. Dennis, how you doing today?
Yeah, great, thanks.
Thanks for coming on by. We'll talk some hockey here. So first thing I wanted to ask, Bloomington Thunder in their third season in the United States Hockey League. You want to talk about kind of the difference between the junior-style hockey league compared to the semi-pro that Bloomington is used to in the past?
Yeah, for sure. You know, that's a big question we get a lot of times is, you know, the big question is, they're high school players, you know, right off the hop, but they're not high school players. You know, we do have a few, obviously. The difference with some of these high school players is they're committed to University of Michigan, UMass, Providence College are already Division I committed hockey players. So the biggest difference with our league, I find, is all our players are rising up. They're trending upwards, so they're all going to play Division I college hockey. As you already know, we had a couple drafted last year in the National Hockey League. Our league is filled with producing pretty much the most NHL draft picks. And so when fans do come to the game, they see the future of the National Hockey League out there, and not only the National Hockey League, but of Division I college hockey. So if you're watching the Big Ten Network game, I was watching it the other night. Jake Slaker leads University of Michigan, played for us last year. Hayden's a net up there. Steve Merle, it's great when we watch those games and see that those players lived here for 2 years, and now they're on Big Ten Network being big-time hockey players. So sure. I think that is the biggest difference. And I'm not knocking the SPHL. Like I know a lot of players in the league, and one of my former players just signed in the SPHL down in one of the South teams, and it's fantastic. But I think the biggest thing is the difference is the skill level, the play, and these guys are motivated to get to the next level.
Yeah, you talked a little bit. There's a few points that I want to put a little pin in that you mentioned, but one of them we can definitely talk about. The amount of players you have that get drafted into the NHL, their prospects. You had
we had last year Mitchell Matson there.
Mitchell, he got drafted, and this year looking at Morages.
Yeah,
he's suspected to be a potential second or third round pick. So I mean, kind of give how does that feel to you for you and the coaching staff? What does it mean to have players get into the NHL?
Well, it's obviously great to get those type of players here, and get to work with them and see them develop and grow, and again, a kid like Ben, he is a 12th grade. He is going online, so he's not in one of our schools here. He's the only one going online in high school, and but again, the type of caliber, the type of player we're getting, and with the National Hockey League, if they're getting drafted in that high, notice they're good. They're good kids too. They're not getting in any issues off the ice. And if Ben was in here, he'd walk right through. You probably wouldn't even know who he was. He's just a quiet kid, and he just goes about his work. And he's preparing to win as many games here in Bloomington, but also preparing for Providence College, and then for the draft. And so it is big, and it's a lot of fun, and it's great to hear their names being called. To know that maybe we had a tiny part in it of helping them build and grow as a hockey player, but at the same time, our league does such a good job, and we're such a recognizable league that we do get a lot of NHL attention, a lot of National Hockey League scouts at our games.
And good to hear that it's obviously you got the NHL type of talent or the young talent coming up through your organization, but not completely all you're looking for as far as, I mean, it's good to hear that they're not getting into trouble. They're not being a waste of talent, so to speak, by just getting kicked out of the league for doing something stupid.
Yeah, you know what? Like that's probably one of the biggest things we're really proud of is the amount of hours we give back in the city and the events we attend and the players wanting to do it. And we also know we're teaching them that as they get up to the highest level. You get to the National Hockey League, the NFL, like they're role models. And even right now in Bloomington, they're role models to a lot of the youth hockey players. So the way they act on and off the ice is just as important, because we do want to set the right example for our up-and-coming youth hockey players to know that, hopefully they're going home saying, I want to be a Bloomington Thunder hockey player one day. And that's because of the type of players that we bring in.
That's good to hear. You were also mentioning a little bit about how you see players who were going into the semi-pro leagues and kind of the rotation of players that come through, and it's kind of a quick turnout probably with some of the players. They're here for a season or two, and then they go on elsewhere. Right now you have Brady Smith, who is a Bloomington native, but as far as the rest of the team, they're all over the country, some even from Canada or Russia. I mean, what's the process like getting all those players culminated together in this area?
Well, that's Dan Jewell. That's my assistant general manager and director of scouting. He's the guy that he logs over probably 2,500 games he watches and reports on everybody. And it is kind of a neat situation that we have Brady Smith who's a local hockey player and who's a great hockey player going to University of Wisconsin, and he's going to be a great hockey player here for a few years. But like you mentioned, to pull guys that are coming from Boston, from California, from Moscow, from Verdun, Manitoba, Wyakalnuk, and here he is living in Bloomington, Illinois. We're able to start. What we've started to be able to do is put Bloomington on the map in the hockey world. When you're in the best junior league, best Tier 1 league, producing the most Division 1 college commitments, the most NHL players, and when people say, oh, you can go to Bloomington, that's a great spot to play. I think that's pretty terrific that, when people are talking out in California, when they're talking in Chicago, when they're talking in Boston, Detroit, Canada, that, if a kid has an option to go play in Bloomington, then that's where they want to go. And not only that, it's a great city and a great town. We've lived here 3 years and we love it. And I know our players have great billet families and housing families that we're really appreciative of, that bring these players into their homes and make them feel just like they would at their own house. So that's just as important to us. But we're very fortunate, and I can't say enough of great things about what our experience has been like here in Bloomington.
That's good to hear. And I mean, it would be nice to see, like you're saying, Bloomington getting more on the map for being more than just a State Farm town or just a college town. Like, it'd be nice to get just for something else that Bloomington could be a little more noteworthy for.
Well, I can tell you, when I moved into the neighborhood, I think I shocked everybody when I said I was the hockey coach, because the first thing everybody asked me was, you must be here for State Farm, and I'm like, at the time I knew about State Farm, I didn't realize, how big, and with some of the other companies in town, obviously, but when I started talking to the neighbors, I'm a hockey coach. They're like, you're a what? A hockey coach, and my wife works from home with a different job outside of the state. So we're probably the two outliers in town, in regards to it. But it is neat. It's been a great 3 years. It's been a process. We've been fortunate enough to have great players to put a good product on the ice, and that goes to Dan Jewell, recruiting the right players, scouting the right guys, and like I said, it's not just as much as what we do on the ice, but it's what these guys are bringing off the ice that makes us as coaches proud.
You were mentioning that Brady, you said he's going to Wisconsin, and I mean, that seems to be a theme with a lot of your team. 22 out of 23 players are D1 committed somewhere. I mean, kind of talk about what that kind of means to you and just what it says about your squad.
That's what we're here to do. And as we tell our players at the beginning of the year, we're all here to win hockey games. But at the end of the day, all being equal, college coaches are going to take the winner. If you got Team A versus Team B and one's got 40 wins and one's got 20, he wants a guy that knows what it takes to win. So the importance is on winning, but it's also on development and getting these players confident in themselves, building their skill sets up for not only, different pushes throughout the year in the sense of the second half of the year, but also for college. And we're a true believer that if we can make the player better, we're going to get more wins off it. And we never really put an onus on our team on winning. We talk a lot about the process of it. And the process is not only just the systems we're going to play, but also the individual process to make you a better hockey player. And so far we've been doing that. And I think the players appreciate that because, at the end of the day, we're investing in that hockey player to get better. And, if you look at our trades in the last 3 years, we don't make a lot of hockey trades because we do believe in the players that we bring in. And then we as coaches have to make them better. That's part of our job. It's just not draft a player, trade a player, draft a player. That doesn't make you a good recruiter or scout, and B, that doesn't make you a good coach because part of your onus as a coach is to make these players better hockey players. And that's what our staff does try to go out and do. And we're fortunate to have, everybody 22 or 23 with Division I scholarships right now.
Good stuff there. So this Thursday going to be Blackhawks night at the Coliseum. Want to give a little bit of a preview what's going on that night without giving away too much of a surprise or too much info going on?
Well, I know it's I believe we got the national anthem singer coming in, and the mascot, I believe, is down. And, for me on the hockey side, I worry about the drop of the puck, and
Sure.
I miss out on all those activities. So my wife and kids definitely get to enjoy it. But I know it's a big night. Last year was a lot of fun. It was a great crowd, great experience with the autographs and the giveaway. So I know it will be a fun night Thursday night with the Blackhawks. And hey, at the end of the day, who doesn't want to be a Blackhawks fan right now? For the last how many years they've been the top team up there. So if anyone wants to emulate a hockey program, that's the one to follow right now.
Well, you can catch the Bloomington Thunder Thursday night, and we've been talking with Coach Dennis Williams. Dennis, thanks for coming into the studios today, and hopefully we get some record numbers for attendance for the game Thursday night. Sounds like it'll be a big night.
Yeah, that would be great. I really appreciate having us.
All right, and best of luck the rest of the season. We'll catch you another time.
Great, thank you.